Hello, I'm John from the Haunt Informer,
And I'm Glenn from Fall Ritual.
and this is episode 45 of Fall Informer. And today we have a returning guest. One of our first interviews we ever did was with Jim Reed from Bloodshed Farms, and here he is again.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on again. I didn't realize it was what'd you say, 3 years ago now? So
It's been a
2 years,
while.
2.5. So
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
cool.
a while.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, no
Yes,
problem.
awesome.
So,
Start the questions, Glenn.
Yeah, what you got?
so a lot has changed
Yes.
since the last time we
Sure.
talked to you. You were just starting out as the drive-through haunt.
Turn my phone
And as
down.
you're doing it again, I just saw you guys posted your schedule for this season. It's going to be a drive-through again. Is that going to be the permanent? Is that going to be the standard now for Bloodshed?
Yeah, at this point I think it's pretty standard for us. If people didn't watch the last time we lost a lot of the grounds that we were on. We had to tear down all the haunts. Our two biggest haunts, well, we had to tear down. So the only thing we really had left was the trail, which we actually we lost half of the trail property, and then we lost the party area property. So the only thing we really had was the hayride property left, and some other areas off to the side that we weren't really utilizing anyway. So really sort of like the location that we're at now, to try to build anything back up, it kind of wouldn't like work out to get people back and forth to the area very well like it was before.
Gotcha.
And this is all going, I mean, I know you had, because, the first year you did it in 2020, you guys had no clue what you were doing. You had no clue how to do this drive-through.
Right,
It
right.
was very go and learn as you go type thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now you guys got it down to really good. I mean, me and
Yeah,
John went out
last
last
year.
year.
We had so
It's
much
nice.
fun.
You got the little food thing. You actually get a menu first, and then you can
Yeah,
get the food and everything.
Yeah, that made it a little bit easier instead of cars having to like stop at the food vendor
Yeah.
and like figure out what they want. By the time they get to there, they kind of already have an idea.
How's that working? Is that, I mean, do people love that
I
idea?
think so. It's so much work on us. We kind of outsource the food aspect to just another vendor that we've known and worked with back when we did the regular Bloodshed. They were one of the food vendors we had inside the party area. So they just kind of stuck with us, and they also have learned since that first year where they sort of just sat there. They've learned also like how better to get the menus out to the cars sooner, and how to change their menu so that they've got things prepared as the cars come through. So you're just zipping through like a drive-through, pretty much. You don't have to get out of your car. They have people waiting right there. So it's like a Chick-fil-A out there. They're running so smoothly now.
Oh my gosh.
And in addition, I want to continue. In addition, a lot of things have changed. I know this will lead into John's question. In addition to the Bloodshed drive-thru, you guys are doing now an axe throwing, like a permanent, like all year round axe throwing. So
Yes.
can you tell us about that and how that came about?
I'll be brief. I probably could be on a whole nother episode just talking about that and the struggles we're having. But it started in September of last year. We're still not open. A lot of, I guess it would be red tape. A lot of steps in the process of getting this thing open, and we're getting very close. But there was a Goodwill building right. You actually drove past the building as you were coming into to the drive-through, or you walked past the building when you were coming to the haunt in the past. Goodwill left the building. Was sort of at a time they weren't really getting anyone to take over the building. It's a pretty large building. So the owner of the building is also who owns the property that we're on. So we sort of said, hey, we're interested. We're going to try to do escape rooms and axe throwing was sort of like the initial idea. But the building doesn't have a sprinkler system in it, and that's pretty much like where the escape room, that's as far as the escape rooms got.
Yeah.
So we just go with the axe throwing. And I know it's a haunt podcast, so I don't want to like take up a lot of time, but
No.
No.
I'll just plug it a little bit.
Yeah, no, totally. Because I know John had a question about it.
I had a question about it.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. What was your question? Maybe I'll feed off of that.
Yeah, definitely. Directly right now, you actually have a GoFundMe page for the Howlers Hatchet
Ew,
House,
yes.
and I actually donated to it because I want you guys to succeed with it because it sounds like a
Thank you.
really interesting concept. So tell me
Yeah,
how the GoFundMe page is going. Tell me like what
it's
perks you get, like different things.
yeah, it's going great, I think. We had like a pretty big setback. If you want to go watch the video, you can go to howlershatchethouse.com. And you know what's funny? I don't know if I have a link to the GoFundMe page on our website. So you're probably
Oh,
better
no.
off going to the Facebook page.
Okay.
There's not a lot of traffic to the website yet,
Okay.
which is probably why I don't think I have it up there.
Okay.
Um, but there's a lot of lawyers involved. When you're starting a business and you're going through zoning. Honestly, a lot of the reasons why we're not going back to the walkthroughs is this: there's a lot of strict codes in New Jersey.
Okay.
Um, a lot of the things they wanted us to do if we went back to a walkthrough is we were going to need architectural drawings, we were going to need zoning permits, we were going to need electrical permits on every single building we built. Was going to need architectural drawings and electrical drawings and permits before any work was like even started. So that would have been a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Building everything to like a building code, for people to just walk through and get scared. I'm sure some people have to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the inside hots have to like abide by a lot of that stuff too. But
Yes, definitely.
what basically happened is we had a couple different architects. They're sort of like the final say of like how things are going to work. So we had everything budgeted out. We were, kind of like prefabbing a lot of the stuff for the axe throwing, getting it ready, and then we were told by once it got to the officials that because there's the building we're in, there's a second tenant in the building. The whole building needs like refabbed and like a whole lot more construction that has to be done before they can issue us any sort of permits to actually open or build what we need to build. So it was a pretty big setback, but we're starting to move on that a little bit. The architect's just about done, like redrawing everything up, that we're going to need to get drawn up. So we're hoping we can try to get open by September with our fingers crossed. But we've been saying we were going to open since April. So if we don't open by September, we probably won't open until November because I don't think we'll be able to like run this in like right from the gate in October.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. So, say if you guys are open in September and it's all, is there going to be a way or a stopping place where people to go through the haunt, stop, and then go do the axe throwing, or vice versa? Like you can do the axe throwing, then you can do the haunt.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We probably would have tried to even do like some package deals where you can do both, but it is kind of two separate businesses as well. So you kind of got to like watch the line there, like where the money's going, and we have different partners for each, right? So, but it definitely, I think it would have been a big draw during October. Like, hey, go do that, and hey, when it's still early, let's pull in here and do some axe throwing. So that's what we're hoping for. So
nice.
Yeah.
And your axe throwing is different than a lot of people's because you have projected targets.
It is. Sort of the same way we sort of went with the haunt, right?
Yeah.
Our whole motto with the haunt when it was a walkthrough was like, hey, we were putting on this kick-ass party area and atmosphere. And then, oh, by the way, we had these like, if you wanted to, you could walk through some haunts. We're trying to do that with axe throwing. Like we got this kick-ass place that looks amazing. There's so much stuff to do here besides axe throwing, different games you can play, things you can do, TVs, BYOB, order food. Like, hey, we have this awesome place. Oh, and while you're here, you can throw some axes. So yeah, we're definitely love the place, and we think it's going to be amazing, definitely. And it's way steps above a lot of the other places in the area.
Okay, nice.
So we're excited. We're excited for it.
Yeah.
Now, how you guys like managing both of them? You're trying to get the haunt ready for the season. You're trying to do the axe. Like, how are you guys even getting any sleep? Or how do you have a life other than trying to get these two things accomplished?
Yeah, there's not a lot of one. There's now that you're kind of colliding, it's pretty crazy. I guess keeps kind of saying we plan for this to be open in the spring. So we thought there was going to be months of getting this ready and having managers in place, and having this place almost run itself, come haunt season.
Yeah.
So the overlapping part's a little bit of a juggle for sure, right now. But because of the permits, we really haven't been able to do too much in Howlers. The past like 3 or 4 weeks, we kind of been at a standstill. We got basically to this point where we just couldn't do anything. We had to stop, and now we're waiting on the architect. We could wait 3. We waited 5 weeks the first time to get the word back from the township, with all this stuff that we had to do. So now it could be another 5 weeks before we even hear from the township to okay what the architect just drew. So when you're looking at people's schedules that can be 2 days from now or like 8 weeks from now, it's like it's a little crazy. But so it's actually helped. We've been able to jump over to the haunt, and I've been able to start like getting all the back end stuff, worked on as far as like the tickets up and the website worked on and all the employee stuff ramped up. So it kind of has, I wouldn't say helped the haunt a little bit, but it's given me more time to work on the haunt the past couple of weeks for sure.
Okay, nice. So my second question for you is, what were the best scares you've gotten the last 2 haunt seasons?
Oh man, we get some pretty good scares, man. I was talking to some family yesterday, and one of my brother-in-laws used to act for us 7 or 8 years ago. And he said, "Man, I don't know if I'd be into coming out and doing the acting for the cars. Like, I can't really get that scare like I used to getting up in people's faces." And I was like, "You don't understand, man. Like, the percentage of people that get scared in their cars based on like the percentage of people that would walk through is like astronomically larger. You would get some scares every couple of groups. Some nights you'd have those just nights where at the end of the night all the actors are like, oh, everyone that came was just boring and no one would get scared. Like did these people come to have a good time? And it's like with the drive-through, it seems like 90% of the people it's easy to get scared. I don't know what it is.
Nice.
So obviously our actors have had to like adjust to that and adapt and learn how to do it. But there's been a couple of good ones. Every actor probably has their top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
There's a few actors that are allowed to get into the vehicles. If we have the Psycho-Pass upgrade, which allows us to like reach into the vehicle, do things to your vehicle. We can actually open the door if you don't have it, unlocked. Even if you don't have the Psycho-Pass upgrade, we may like open the door and kind of like reach, kind of like you would a no-touch haunt. We'll reach in your window. We won't touch you. We'll maybe stick like a rubber axe through your window or something like that.
Yeah.
No contact, but the Psycho-Pass allows us to like have contact with you and open your doors, get in your car. And I actually had I got in the back seat with a couple of people. It was like some older ladies, and they were just screaming their heads off. And the lady opens up her door on her side of the car as the car's moving at a couple miles an hour, jumps out her side of the car because she's so scared of me. Right, I just follow her through the car. I just crawl across the back seat, go out the other door. Now I'm chasing her around the car. Right, she gets back in the car. So that was a pretty good one. I always remember. And then there's plenty of times just like pickup truck people just getting on the back of the truck, and one of my favorite. Everyone comes through with blankets. They love to ride in the back of the pickup trucks, and they got pillows and blankets and stuffed animals, and I'm taking those stuffed animals from you. I'm ripping off your blanket. I love it. Like, pigs in a blanket. I'm like,
Because let's not forget, you do act in there. Yes. There are nights ago you throw a costume on and you will go out and act. Whether it be just like up, in the queue before going in, or
That's something I like. I like that you had scare actors messing with you before you actually went through. That was nice.
Yeah, last year I acted probably. I think we ran 13 nights last year. I probably acted like 12 of the 13 nights, at least a little bit of each night, every year. And it does the drive-through. There isn't as many issues as there is, once we get everything rolling, and now that we've sort of like worked out a lot of the kinks, we've got a lot of good team in place that could handle like most of the issues that come up, which allows me, more time to get out there and act. And then I got my headset in all times if I need to take care of something. But we got a good team that kind of lets me, be able to get out there and act. And I was never able to do that before.
You said the pickup truck night. There's like
Yeah.
one you can decorate your own car and do
Yep.
like a decoration type thing. So what are
Yeah,
some of
that one hasn't really caught on. We always try to do like decorate your car. One night we haven't been getting more than like 3 to 5, maybe. I think we might have had like 10 people last year decorate their car, but we had more people during the season decorate their cars. Just like on random nights, they would just come through. The amount of people that come in costumes and decorate the inside of their cars is pretty amazing. I mean, they do all these displays.
Really?
Last year was like we started seeing people doing displays on their dashboards, battery powered LED lights, their full costumes. We started seeing last year people doing like they would theme out the car so they'd all be like the Flintstones came. Like everyone in the car was like one of the Flintstones.
That's
like
great.
coming through.
I love that.
Yeah, a lot of kids that are a lot more costume wearing, coming through during the season. So we might try to do a certain night this year where like we'll actually like judge like your sort of the theme of the people that are coming through. We'll judge your theme. So we do the pickup truck night. We did that one night the first year. It was super popular. So we brought that back that year. Last year we did it for 2 weekends. This year it's going to be every Sunday. So all four of our Sundays this year, if you come through in a pickup truck, you can ride in the back of the pickup truck, and that's like people really enjoy that. It's almost like a mini hayride. The actors enjoy it.
Yeah.
The people enjoy it. We did Jeep night last year that we'll probably do again. So there was a Jeep meet here earlier in the night. So they all met up, and the food vendor actually came earlier. We're gonna for the Jeep meetup. So they were out there like a couple hours before we opened, and they had the whole Jeep meetup, and then we had like discounted passes, for the Jeeps that came through that night, and that was pretty cool because the Jeeps do this thing with like ducks. I don't know if you guys know, like big thing with Jeepers is they like give rubber ducks.
I've seen a lot of Jeeps with rubber ducks. Me working at the gas station, a lot of Jeeps come in. I see these. I'm like, what is up with these rubber ducks?
I've seen a lot of covers. I've seen the covers have different things on with the tire on the back, but I've never seen the ducks.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like when you go to these events, they'll give out like themed rubber duckies. And it's like like the Jeep guys, like they collect these rubber ducks, and they were giving them out to our actors, last year. And we actually had some also that we were some rubber duckies that we just happened to have, and we wrote like Bloodshed Farms, and we were giving them out to those guys too.
I was gonna say you should totally have your own branded ones.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I'm pretty sure they're not that hard to get to. I know they have like scary ones too, like vampire ducks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check out Oriental Training, I think.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
So another question I have for you is, what teasers can you give for the upcoming season? Because last time you were on, you teased different scenes we were going to do, things you're working on, like you add a werewolf scene and all kinds of crazy stuff with like the fish wharf. And I love both those scenes. It was so much fun. And the ritual scene, that was crazy too. So on anything new this year?
So mainly this year, we're actually just trying to add to all the scenes that we have.
Nice.
We're only going to have like one actual additional scene that's sort of a reworking of a scene that we have now. But our big focus this year is like fixing a lot of things that you might not have known were broken last year and extending all the different scenes. So like our slaughterhouse scene, today we were making it like 20 foot longer, adding stuff on both sides. The asylum scene, we're adding smaller little buildings and more fencing and just like more. So just trying to make each scene almost like run into each other at that point. This is kind of like where we're heading now. So that's kind of like the big thing we're doing this year is just upping each scene a little bit, just adding to each scene like where we can. The voodoo scene, we're probably adding like a couple more buildings. So that's kind of where it's at this year. I could tease the newest scene, and we're revamping the entire clown scene. We haven't actually touched the clown scene since back when it was a hayride. It's sort of been the same scene since back then. So we tore down probably 50% of what was there the last couple of years. Obviously it's an outside haunt, so there was a lot of crates, there was a lot of stuff that like kind of needed to go anyway. So we're greatly expanding that scene. And all I can say is for anyone that was like a fan of our Midway back when we were like a walkthrough, get ready to like drive. Get ready to like have some memories as you drive through what's now more going to be like instead of like a clown house, it's going to be just like a full size Midway. So you might see some familiar games and things set up that you're going to be like driving through. You know, as you go through like the clown scene, we're probably, I'd say it's going to be about 4 times bigger, that scene itself.
Oh, wow.
So
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
So that's going to be a good one.
Yeah. And I love that scare actors could get in your car last year. We did that, and they put bloody handprints on my car and sprayed blood on my car. And I shook a scare actor's hand in the slaughterhouse, and I got fake blood on my hand. And oh, it was crazy.
Yeah. And we'll be bringing that back. And the actors are always coming up with ideas to try different things too. Like, hey, how about I, hand this out. One of the things with the Psychopaths is we use a lot of props. Yes. So not giving too much away, but the bride might throw rice on you. You might get fake spiders thrown on you. You're going to get squirted with water at the wharf. We use a bunch of fake blood that will probably get on your car or possibly your face. So we got a lot of other good surprises this year. Some ideas that we came up with for some of the scenes to do some different things with people that have been here before, that they'll have a little bit different interaction at the scenes than what they've been used to.
Wonderful. Looking forward to that. Nice. So,
what is the overall reaction to it now that it is strictly a drive-through? I know a lot of people love that Midway. A lot of people love the 4 different attractions. Are you getting like really good positive reviews about it and a lot of returning people?
It's another one of kind of like it amazes me, to be honest with you. The reaction, like the good, like the amount of people that really enjoy it and look forward to it, every year. I kind of picked up my phone, right? Because it's kind of a little bit of a cheat, but this was just me and Clark were talking about this right before I came in, but I just posted, the calendar, 7 hours ago on our Facebook page, and our Facebook's been pretty dead. I'll post here and there, but you know how Facebook works. Like if you don't make a post in a while, it kind of takes a while to generate that the people on your page, sort of even see it. And in 7 hours, we have like almost 80 comments, since I posted the thing. And
that's awesome.
I'm so excited. Pickup night was awesome. Can't wait. Had a blast last year. Yes. We got to go do this again. Pick a day. We're there. Yes. This is so much fun. Must do. We sat in the truck last year and shit our pants all night. Got to do this again. It's just like, it's great. It's, it makes us feel great, seeing that's, in less than 8 hours on a post I posted in the middle of the day on a Sunday, which is not very good. Just seeing that people are that excited, and that hyped that, to come back again is like, gets us hyped up, obviously, too. So.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I know, like I said, that first year was, it was kind of like learning on the go, and a lot of people were like, it was a 3-hour wait or whatever it was. Now you guys got it down, and it's very awesome to see that people are appreciating what you guys are doing out there. It's a unique experience.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely upgrade to the Psychopaths, just because you get that extra.
Yeah.
Interaction with the actors and stuff, so it's awesome that people are like so like excited for it, your theme nights and everything.
Yeah, and roll down your windows if you're coming. Roll down your windows,
right? And turn up the music.
I'm surprised how many people still keep their windows completely rolled up when they drive through. They're just that scared, they're scared. They're most of those are people that probably aren't going through haunted houses anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
I say that about like the people that come to this. Most of those people probably aren't going to other haunts anyway. Either they have kids that are too young or too scared, or they themselves are kind of too scared or whatever. So, one, it's it's a little gives them a little comfort thinking they're safe in their cars.
Yeah.
Two, that's might be a reason why we get more scares, because it's just we're getting that more people that aren't used to any other haunts and the walking through. So They're not.
That's
They
another
don't know
great
they
thing.
don't know what to expect.
Yeah,
So
that's another great aspect about this is that you're getting the younger generation into haunting and getting them introduced to haunts. Like this might be their first haunt.
yeah,
And that's
yes,
awesome because it's already really good quality with all the sets and the scare acting. So they're like, that was so much fun. I want to go to other places when I grow up. So
yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Um, we sell out. Pretty much usually the first weekend is about the only weekend we don't sell out.
Okay.
We can only do. It sounds like it's great, but no one would come if we were open this weekend, right? It's not Halloween yet, but we sell out.
This in our mind.
Yeah, I know. Did you go to Spirit yet?
Not yet.
um, but yeah, it's I think I said before we have that last weekend we had people just calling us like begging us to come, like we're sold out. We sell out like a week or two before that final weekend usually, and we don't want to have that 3 hour wait. It's like going to a movie theater. We know how many people we can put through in 4 hours, and that's all the people we allow to come for those 4 hours. I'd love to be open for 8 hours. Our actors would never come back, or our parking staff. But I'd love to be open. We could probably be open until 2 or 3 in the morning Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not really reasonable. But so yeah, that's all I can. I'll tell people we're going to be sold out, and you're going to be calling and saying it was my daughter's 16th birthday. I forgot to buy tickets. I'm going to go, well, I told you for weeks, come earlier in the week, I'll come earlier in the season.
No, it's not time slotted, right?
It is time slotted. Yeah, when you buy your ticket, yeah, it's every 30-minute slots.
Okay.
So it's only a certain amount of cars every 30 minutes. So if you're buying your ticket for 9 o'clock, hopefully you're getting here 8:45, and you're in by 9. By 9 to 9:30 would be your time slot. So
gotcha.
So this year, when do you think the tickets will be up? I saw the teaser. It's like you said, like August something.
Yeah. They're just about finished now. I'll probably next weekend is when I'll launch the ticket site. So by next Monday, what did I say, the 8th, I think, or something like that. The Monday the 8th, they should be up and available. So
yeah.
Now, what are
on that, guys? Jump on the tickets.
yeah, before they sell out, and
especially if you want to come, those last 2 weekends, you need to buy your tickets, early as possible.
And especially theme nights. I assume theme nights get sold out pretty quick. The pickup night and
pickup nights they have Sunday nights. That's kind of why we do it on Sunday nights, because that's a little less trafficy night, and usually in general, being a school night. So we usually run a little earlier on Sundays, and we don't run as late. We only run till like 9:30, I think, or we end at 10. So the last slot's 9:30 to 10. Okay. Whereas Fridays and Saturdays it's 10:30 to 11 is the final segment. So
Nice.
I'd love to let 700 cars come here, but we know better now with those long waits and how we can get it through. And it still happens. I mean, we still could have last year we had a car breakdown, in the middle of the road, the path. We try to have people in place, spots where we can get the cars out of the way, and get things moving. We've had people run out of gas. A lot of people just overheat, bringing older cars, and they're just kind of not used to that stop and go, and sitting for 45 minutes.
That idling of sitting the edges, your cars are going to stall out.
Yeah. And so it's when you're trying to get a car in, every 30 seconds or so, it doesn't take much to get that bumper to bumper, action through the drive-through. But we're also trying to do more things with more tarps in certain scenes that kind of come down to a certain point to kind of block line of vision, so when you are in those like bumper to bumper spaces, it gives a little bit more like element of surprise.
Yeah, so you can't see it ahead of time. Okay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, another drawback is like a lot of the new cars don't let you turn the headlights off. So we're seeing that like more and more. Not as much like the first year, but last year was a lot of cars that can't turn their headlights off. So we'll try to space you out. If we know that, we'll try to space them farther back, from the cars. but I know this isn't really a question, but it was a thought I just reminded myself.
Sure.
It's sort of just like when you're going through a haunt, sometimes you'll get caught up in this Congo line of people.
Yes.
Or sometimes you walk through and you never see a soul.
Yeah.
It all depends. The drive-thru is the same way. You've got people that get scared and they'll go 7 to 10 miles an hour, and then you've got the people that will stop and want to just keep talking to the actor. Our actors are trained to kind of the same way: keep the cars moving, keep the people moving. Scare the car forward. Don't if the car won't leave you, you have to leave the car. If the person won't stop interacting, with you, you have to walk away and let them go. Continue moving. So it's sort of the same way as the walkthroughs are. Depending on when you come and the person that's in front of you, you might end up in a line of cars. You might breeze right on through.
So this is something I definitely want to ask you. Would you ever consider having the bloodshed experience, the actual shed, like a simulated torture experience during the drive-through as an add-on? So like you could do the drive-through and then do that if you wanted to. Because I've never done bloodshed. I want to do it.
Oh, okay.
Done it.
So I'll just say we have some ideas. If the X-ray in place does well,
Okay.
we have some ideas to incorporate some of the stuff that we used to do at Bloodshed. I guess I can tease this maybe a year from now, but we could see the return of the camper escape room.
Okay. Nice.
We could have some mobile escape rooms, possibly. We're not sure like what the codes are, with them, but we talked about having something like that inside of Howlers, where you could come in like maybe during the Halloween season. We would have it a little more scary themed, than it normally would be. But you've seen you've probably seen it at Transworld or some of the other conventions. It's like I don't know if they called it the chamber. We built it one year. We called it the chamber, and it was like that little 2-minute escape room where you're like trying to do things.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen it. Yeah,
I know the guy that like designed it at had it at Transworld a couple of years. But we talked about like that could be something we could have like inside Howlers. So if you finished, the haunt or whatever, you could come in here and we could have some other stuff, for you. So
yeah. Nice.
That would definitely be an awesome add-on if you pull that off. Get done the drive-through and do that.
We were always told in the haunt, like in the past, sort of like with the township, because we talked about maybe just doing the hay rides. That's always a big question that people ask us, like, why don't you like offer hay rides on certain nights? Why don't you incorporate that? Hay carts. People can park in a certain area. They can do the hay cart if they want to. Yeah. And really, as soon as someone steps foot out of their car, it changes everything. With the township, as far as like what they expect safety wise, with people on the property, as far as like the lighting and everything on the whole property and stuff. So that wasn't really feasible either. We kind of looked into that last year, trying to maybe do like a hayride night during the season, or even just offer hay rides like during the course of the night. Okay. And it was like, well, now that you're out of your vehicle going through these attractions that have buildings in them and roofs over some of them, now we're liable, that building's going to have to be inspected and all that stuff, like for built to code.
Yeah. Gotcha. Do you have any final thoughts, Glenn?
No, just we were talking about ticket sales and selling out. You guys just posted your schedule. You guys are open, I believe, the last weekend in September.
We're just doing that Saturday. Usually that, for whatever reason, for us that Friday in September is usually like our slowest night the last 2 years. I guess it's just because it's still September. People aren't quite thinking about it yet, and so we were like, look, let's just do Saturday. That Saturday in September. We're also thinking ahead a little bit. We're not sure how Howlers is going to be. Friday nights as an opening night has always been rough. You're getting all your actors there for the first time ever. You're turning on everything. Usually you don't get a good run through of everything turned on at once until opening night. So Friday night, everyone's rolling in at 5. You're trying to start by 7. It's usually a tight window. So we're hoping that Friday night we can spend sort of like doing a nice dry run maybe like friend and family type of thing, like half half actors, like ones that might want to. So we won't be open that Friday, but we'll be ready to go that Saturday, and then every weekend in October, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Awesome. Now, I have one final question for you. Would you bring back the demented Christmas version of the drive-thru?
Yes. Yes, we definitely will. It won't be this year.
Okay.
But once the Axeron place is open, I'm going to be spending a lot more time on site, and that's going to be my job. The Axeron place is going to be my job, so I won't have other obligations. Other job, so I won't be doing 3 jobs now in November and December.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to bring back the Christmas drive-through, and we even have plans to maybe do like a halfway to Halloween weekend, possibly in the future.
Nice.
So
I was going to ask, would you do other events like Valentine's?
The most difficult thing is, and we know, I'm sure you've talked about it on those shows about Trans World East, coming next year. Would we ever possibly open, for the industry?
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems is we still use corn, right? So corn is sort of like a major backdrop of all of our scenes, and that's what stops you from seeing across the field this way and seeing this way, and seeing the scenes. You're kind of looping through, just like the hayride was, right? It's a big cornfield. So if people understood, if they were coming in July, that there's not going to be any corn, you're going to be able to look over and see the back of the scene, 100 yards across the field, and they're okay with that. We'll see.
Yeah. I think the Honda industry would understand that.
Yeah. Maybe there's a springtime corn I'm unaware of. Or we just a lot of bamboo.
Are you guys planning on doing the East Coast Trans World? Are you guys planning on coming out to that?
Oh yeah, we're coming out. We're waiting for them to put some more stuff out. We might do some vending. And we've past couple of years we've tried to do some seminars. Nice. On like Drive-Thru or whatever, but they haven't said yes yet on those. But so maybe a little closer, we might do some seminars on like outdoor haunt or drive-through haunts, because the outdoor aspect of haunting is still one of our biggest fights, even doing the drive-through.
Yeah, definitely.
I fought plenty of ants and bees and snakes just today.
No, I'm out. It's amazing. Again, like we talk to all you guys, haunt owners, actors, set designers, because during the off season, you guys are working constantly around the clock, trying to get everything set up, and it's just we want to get that out there. It's like this isn't just set up in a couple of weeks.
No, it's a year-round process.
We usually start. I think I said before. Usually, we're usually cleaned up by Thanksgiving. That's what we shoot for. It doesn't always. It does happen now that if we don't do the Christmas drive-through, we're usually cleaned up by Thanksgiving. Have most of the props put away and all the generators and things like that. And then usually in March we're starting like pre-planning. Or whatever, but by it's an outside haunt on 27 acres of land. This year, because of the Hatchet house, we were a little behind actually getting out there, and we're paying for it with like waist high weeds and grass that were we're having to weed whack and all the scenes and things like that. So if you don't stay on top of that from like early spring, it gets out of hand. So I'd say like a third of our time up here, like myself or Clark is probably mowing on the lawnmower, mowing, weed whacking, spraying weeds.
How was this year? Since you said you normally pre-plan in March, how was it for you with Trans World in February this year?
I think it'll be good. We didn't do Trans World this year.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
We didn't do Trans World this year. We kind of had, because we were doing this, kind of like was tying us up, through that time. But next year with Trans World being being on the East Coast Trans World, I'm sure it'll fire us up a lot sooner in the year.
That's in April. That's in April.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for talking to us. We always love talking to con owners. Definitely friends that we have here. So any final shout outs you want to have for scare actors that you thought did a good job last season, you're looking forward to see again, everything like that, where you're going to hire people, all that good stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe I made it through the whole show, but I always can't believe like the family of actors that we have here are amazing. I'm sure every haunt owner, can say that. But I sort of just set out like the forums for everyone to come back, and as much as everyone's by the end of the year, so glad it's over. When it comes October next year, everybody's back, and raring to go. They forget the misery of a long haunt season of last year. I think the fun and everything, outweighs that aspect of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, our actors are amazing. We have just recently, if anyone's interested in makeup or acting or ticket booth parking, we have availability in most of all of that. They can go to our website, bloodshedfarms.com, and there's employee form on there. So every year, all haunts is, it's a struggle for everyone to find good employees. And again, our rollover has like always just been tremendous. So thankful for the actors. We get a lot of them coming back. So I've had a good team for lots of years.
Yes. Awesome. And I'll also have your Howlers website linked below in the GoFundMe.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's cool. Appreciate that. Appreciate it.
So I have been John from the Haunt Informer.
And I'm Glenn from Fall Ritual.
And this was episode 45 of Fall Informer. And until next time, happy hauntings.